here, it's cold, it might start raining, and this is an all sprint report episode, so let's get to it. Last sprint report, we showed some of the earliest work the AI team was doing to make the landings of AI pilots more realistic and natural, and less, direct and unvaried. So let's check in again this week on more of their continued, still work in progress. You can see here a focus on new, safe procedural spline generation, which uses an iterative process to apply repulsive and spring forces to each control point based on the various signed distance fields in the area. The white line seen here is the original direct flight path, and the cyan is what's being generated automatically by this new AI process. This new tech is essential in allowing designers to add NPC reinforcements to a variety of mission locations where spawn closets might be too conspicuous or otherwise unavailable. And it should add an exciting element of added danger and variation to missions throughout the persistent universe, enabling new mission types and alternate outcomes to existing ones when player action or inaction can cause a good situation to go bad or an already intense one to get even worse. And beyond just AI reinforcements to the situation, these kinds of NPC landings and takeoffs are an exciting step forward in building a more immersive universe with ship traffic coming and going from the various landing zones, points of interest, space stations, and beyond. It's been on the wish list for a while, and it's exciting to me to see this tech beginning to realize its full potential. And in additional AI immersion news, work is also being done to randomize non-hero NPC movement speeds, which you can see here. Just another way the team is working to create a believable environment of characters in Squadron 42 and the persistent universe. That one in the middle looks based on me. We've also got an update on AI collision avoidance tech we showed before, making AI even more polite by now being able to detect conversations going on between players and characters and avoid passing between them, which is nice. And then there's this new AI interaction that doesn't really need to be explained, does it? So yum, so wow. Switching over to PU characters for a bit, the team continues to concept out additional looks for their Frontier clothing line, pushing for greater variety while still maintaining a recognizable theme throughout. These paper doll displays were made with a focus on utility and a read for survival out in the wilderness. And you can see here variants for more extreme environments with these potential cold weather options. We also have this look at some non-hero assets being explored for minor NPCs and the like, with the addition of overalls, vests, and something I think we could use a little bit more of in the persistent universe, and in real life in general, ponchos. Yeah, let's roll with some more ponchos. Of course, this is your regular reminder that concepts are an exploration of ideas, and showing them is not an acknowledgement or commitment that any of these will arrive in-game. We create these to discover the things that we like and don't like. Also, Ian is really good at FPS combat. That doesn't really apply to anything, he just wants more folks to know. Members of the Planet Content and EU Sandbox teams recently started a sprint exploring new cave archetypes and entrances beyond the rocky ones that we currently have, as you can see here with this early gray box look at a sand type of cave currently being explored. And now that we've got our first river on Microtech, work's begun on building out a new library of underwater flora, as you can see here with these river weeds. River weeds, that's what they're called, right? And then, before we head into Invictus launch week next week, let's take a look at a vehicle you already know about currently in production and check in with the popular Corsair, first ship from Drake Interplanetary being taken to our current gold standard. This is the mess hall, which includes a slight change from concept to improve player traversal. Originally, the entrance lift came up between two turrets, but in white box testing, that caused a noticeable traffic jam, especially during intense situations. The entrance lift now comes up in a sealed cubby off of the mess hall and allows for improved traversal throughout the remainder of the ship. But the real hotness is in the cockpit, with a look at these dashboards currently making their way through final art phase. Just wow. I really want to push every button. And finally, before we let you go, a little tease of something we'll be discussing more as it gets closer to release: changes to ground vehicle physics that are currently being tested, iterated on, passed out to vehicle designers for feedback, tested again, iterated again, passed on again, etc., etc., etc. What you see on the left is the current arcade-style movement found in the persistent universe today. And on the right, a more physically based movement system we're calling internally physical movement. Because I know, we're really good at naming things. The goal of adopting a more physically based movement system will be obvious. We want our vehicles to behave more like we'd expect them to, and that means getting a more natural vehicle response from the environment without the gliding that's currently caused by the arcade simulation on the left. This physics work would also extend to going up enormous hills. Like you can see on the left with arcade, you can currently stop and maintain traction, which is neat for looking at sunsets, sure. But in a physically based system, you'll need to consider the speed, momentum, and the actual path you take just a little more carefully. This change is also going to affect the way ground vehicles do just about everything, including fall tremendous distances as well. You can see on the left here, the arcade model, it tends to correct the Ursa the entire way down, but the physically based model is a bit less forgiving. Also, you can see they've been testing a lot. And I know I said finally for the physics thing, but maybe we can squeeze one more teaser in this week, huh? What's this? This is something we're definitely going to be learning more about as we get closer to its release. It's a new kind of pew-pew. So cool. So what did we learn this week? Well, we learned that AI content, feature, and tech teams continue to make strides that will not only make the persistent universe more immersive, but unlock new opportunities for mission designers when reinforcements come online. That features, old and new, like caves and rivers respectively, continue to be iterated on and improved. And say what you will about Drake, their dashboards are just so tactile. Now, don't forget that Invictus Launch Week begins next week, and over the next 2 weeks, we'll be right back here learning more about all the new vehicles making their debut at this year's event. For Inside Star Citizen, I'm Jared Huckaby. This is the new Manchester office still under construction, and we'll see you all here next week.